Welcome in, everybody, to the 10th episode of the Free Play Podcast. You know me, I'm the host. At this point, you might know Braden Willard joining us again. I think this is your third episode?
Third time, yeah.
Third episode. So he's becoming a frequent appearance on the Free Play Pod. But today, we're going to have a bit of a slate that hits close to home. We're going to be talking about Braden's Wolverines and their big games that they got coming up. And then, of course, a majority of this segment will be dedicated to the Jerome Tang firing that I was on the podcast just 2 weeks ago calling for, that I didn't think was going to happen, especially at this point in the season. But here we are. Jerome Tang is out. Matthew Driscoll is in. And the Cats have 6 games left of the season before Big 12 tournament play, where they will not have their head coach. So welcome into the 10th episode of the Free Play Podcast. Now, for some of you, you may be seeing this situation in the national media being brought up, and you're wondering, how can a situation like this even become possible? You're seeing the timeline of events that have played out, and what the media will want you to think is that Jerome Tang is just getting fired for winning and not winning games. Winning and losing games is the only reason why he's been fired, but that's just not the case. I mean, there's a reason why K-State is firing him for cause. So I want to go through the timeline of events that really led to this, and this is just the past 5 days. If you want to look up the causes that have led to this in his 4-year tenure, do that. It's more than what I could even cover in this podcast. I mean, this isn't even getting into the Naquan Tomlin situation. This isn't getting into going into the Florida Atlantic locker room after losing to them in the Elite Eight. This is not even covering the Spygate scandal he accused Iowa State of. I mean, there's so many things that we haven't even covered, like Shark Week, that whole thing with Coleman Hawkins, Doug McDaniel, Achor, some of these players getting dismissed off the team, even some of the controversies we've had this season. This is purely just the last 5 days. So Wednesday, February 11th, which is as of this recording on Tuesday, February 17th, just 6 days ago, Jerome Tang and the Cats suffered a 29-point home blowout loss to Cincinnati. Cincinnati is one of the worst teams in the Big 12. This was the lowest of lows and one of the worst 10 home losses in program history, which was also coupled by losing to Kansas the week prior by less than that, but not significantly. I believe it was 24. So, again, up there in one of the worst home program losses in history, and then losing to Houston a couple days after that is what kind of sparked this. So, going back to Wednesday, February 11th, this is the night when this whole thing really just fell down. I mean, you got students with bags over their heads showing up to the game. Shout out Ben and Levi and my brother Jacob and the 24 brave soldiers who wore the bags at Bramwich Coliseum that night. We sparked the change, baby. And you have in the post-game press conference your head coach showing up and giving a 2-minute and 30-second press conference, answering 2 questions, only taking 2 questions, and he goes on this rant. This is a direct quote. "These dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few of them in it next year." Tang said, "It means something to wear a K-State uniform. It means something to put on this purple. I love this place. They don't love this place, so they don't deserve to be here."
I think that's just absurd. There's no need.
You've probably seen that clip cycled everywhere. ESPN, TikTok,
Yeah.
CBS Sports posted it. I mean, it's along with the bags, like it was truly the lowest of lows. Paper bags are a common thing in the NFL,
Yeah.
but not in college basketball.
I know.
I'd never seen that before until we pulled it off. But the big thing about this was really, if this is the direct route they are going to go for firing him for cause, Gene Taylor, the AD himself, said that these were the words that really sparked this in his mind. Whether you believe that to be true or not, we'll just have to wait and see in court. But moving on to the next day, Thursday, February 12th, I want to hear Braden's perspective on this as an outsider. But Tang made the players report for 6 a.m. practice, which is something that he was going to be holding every single day the rest of the season. And to pair with that, they ran the stairs at Bramlage Coliseum a reported 63 times up and
Ooh.
down because of, I believe they scored 62 points in the game the night before. So he made them run the stairs 63 times. So that's something also potentially for ammo for firing for cause, because there may be contract stipulations about and NCAA regulations about how quickly a team can practice after
crazy.
playing a game, because we're talking about that game finishing up. I came home at, I believe it was 9:30 that night, and I caught the tail end of the game. I'd been watching a little bit of it while I was out and about, but I get home at the end of the game. So 10 o'clock is about when the press conference ends, and the next day they're up at 6 for practice. I mean, that's
brutal.
8 hours. 8 hours. So what's your opinion on that?
That there's no need. I mean, they're already doing bad. I believe that a lot of it goes with coaching. Now, a lot of the play can be with the players. Like, they have to perform and all this stuff. But who's that one? Wait, what's that one guy on K-State? The really good one? They dropped like
PJ Haggerty?
Yeah, they have, I mean, you guys have PJ Haggerty. You can't rely only on him. You need a team, but also the coaching is a heavy spot. And I think that is just way overkill.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And if you think that's ridiculous, I don't know how much you've been keeping up with the situation, but so Friday, February 13th, the day after the 6 a.m. practice, we have Kansas State departing for Houston. So they're going to play the Houston Cougars on the road. I believe Houston was favored by 21.5, which is one of the biggest spreads that we've ever seen in K-State history, especially modern history. So that was certainly interesting, and I want to preface this by the reports are going out that this was not, I believe, an act by Gene Taylor. I mean, just 74 days ago, I believe, it was that he sat up at the introductory press conference or the closing remarks on Chris Kleiman's career as the head coach at Kansas State football, and he brought up, without being prompted, about we hired a head coach without any previous head coaching experience, and he's turned out okay in basketball. Talking about Jerome Tang. And for 74 days later for him to be fired, it seems like this was some pressure put on by the big money donors at K-State. And so the reports are that we have the game on Wednesday night, and then he starts getting calls Thursday and Friday about, okay, we're in, here's the money, fire him. We have your backing with the money. And so then that might have prompted them to feel okay with firing him for cause, knowing that they have these donors who are backing them with this $18.75 million. So now we go on to Saturday, where K-State loses, which was assumed, but they actually put up a good fight, like 78-64. I mean, we're still talking about a 14-point loss, but there's no shame in losing by 14 on the road at Houston. Like, that's not a bad loss. Certainly when you get blown out by 29 by Cincinnati, losing to Houston by 14 is not bad. But the big deal out of this game was Tang made it a point of emphasis after the game in the press conference about two players, one of them being hurt, and Abdi Bashir, and another one playing 40 minutes in the game, Nate Johnson, handling the scout for that week. So we have players that are doing the coaching in the prep work that is supposed to be done by the assistant coaches, and we have Nate Johnson playing 40 minutes in the game. So he helped prepare the scout for the week, and he also played in the game 40 minutes.
That's crazy.
Which is like, this is just malpractice, like everywhere. So that drops us to 1-11 on the season. And here's a quote from Gene Taylor about how this kind of all came together. He said, I was out of town and couldn't put this all together and had to get with President Linton in order to make sure we were all on the same page. While Kansas State was playing, that's when I was making the decision and talking to the president. So we have that on Saturday. So that's why this thing kind of dragged on. I believe the decision was made, as he said, was pretty much on Saturday. So, I mean, we can infer that Thursday and Friday was when he was making those calls to the donors and they were securing the funding. So this was probably a plan that was set into motion, obviously directly after the Cincinnati game. But then Sunday, 9 a.m., Gene Taylor met with Jerome Tang on Sunday morning and informed him that he could resign and be allowed to coach out the rest of the season, or he would be fired for cause. If he resigned, K-State said it was willing to let Tang part with an undetermined portion of his $18.7 million buyout, and he was given until 5 p.m. that night to make his decision.
He needs to be gone.
This is just, I mean, this is crazy drama. Like, this is high stakes here. Like, shout out to the Mercury, Kansas State Mercury, plugged into the program, getting their sources from within K-State. They were the first on the Chris Kleiman retirement news and bringing in Colin Klein, and now they're getting this scoop. Like, the Mercury's been killing it recently, so shout out to them. Another good writer that has been on this process is Wyatt Wheeler with Topeka Capital Journal Online. He's done a phenomenal job of covering all aspects of this, from the Wednesday night press conference to the Wednesday night bags that were over the head of the Kansas State student section to the impending bag out the Bram that there was going to be for what would be tonight's game against Baylor. So, I mean, this is just, it's a crazy sequence of events. And so we have around 5 p.m. that night, which is the time that Jerome Tang's ultimatum from Gene Taylor comes and expires. 5 p.m., Tang's lawyer requests an extra hour to respond to the ultimatum. So he still hasn't made his decision yet. And then around 6 p.m., Tang comes back and says he will agree to resign if he gets his full $18.7 million buyout. That's when Gene Taylor decides that we're just going to go ahead and fire you, and we will be firing you for cause.
That's
so
greedy.
That would mean that if Jerome Tang is found guilty of being fired for cause, that would mean that he receives zero of that $18.7 million, which the basis of what this is standing on, which we will get to later, is, I believe, not enough to get his $18.7 million buyout, because typically these situations are reserved for a domestic abuse or a domestic violence type situation, some illegal activity that a coach is caught up in, or some just overall massive flaw within the program, like that's in direct violation of laws. This is just more moral than anything to me. So there is language in his contract, which we'll get to, but overall, I mean, it's not. I don't think it's enough for $18 million to go away. I think this was purely a ploy to just get it negotiated down, hopefully get it to like 10 or 11. But we see at 6:30 p.m., Jeff Goodman of Field of 68, a joke of a program, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of them. They are the first to report Tang's firing, and the Mercury, of course, confirmed soon after that it was for cause. So that's 30 minutes after Tang agrees to resign for the $18 million, and K-State declines and fires him for the cause. And then we have 7:30, Gene Taylor goes and announces and makes it official that K-State has fired Jerome Tang. And he puts out a statement talking about how he asked Coach Tang to tell the team, and Tang walks in the room, tells the team what happens. He informs them that he's been let go and that Matthew Driscoll will be taking over for the rest of the season. And so that's how that situation unfolds. And then directly from there, 8:30, Gene Taylor meets with local media to address the firing, which was probably not needed. No. This is going to be a lawsuit. We don't need to be sharing any extra details.
Definitely.
But this is the statement that he put out. I'm deeply disappointed with the university's decision, or this is Tang talking about, this is his statement that he put out. I'm deeply disappointed with the university's decision and strongly disagree with the characterization of my termination. I have always acted with integrity and faithfully fulfilled my responsibilities as head coach. I'm grateful to the players, staff, and fans who make this program so special. I remain proud of what we built together and confident that I have always acted in the best interests of the university and our student athletes.
I don't know, going back a few days when he was talking about how the players don't deserve to have their names on the back of the jerseys, I don't know if that's very much of a coach to me.
Yeah, and just today, I mean, this is an evolving situation. We have new stuff that's coming out frequently. So, of course, just today, of course, it's Twitter, so you never take anything with too much of a with not much more than a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But there was a video that was released of allegedly Coleman Hawkins talking about how Jerome Tang invited the team over last year before they played Houston at home, who was the number 2 team in the country, to watch film. Typically, they would watch film at the team facilities, which they lived directly next to, but Tang wanted them to come to his house to watch film for most of the season. So they go to Tang's house. He's trying to turn on the projector. He presses the button twice to turn on the projector, and it doesn't turn on.
I wonder where this is going to go.
Tang turns around and tells the team that I guess it's just a sign from God that we weren't meant to watch film. Just go out, shoot whatever shots you want, and play the game to the best of your abilities and the hardest that you can, and we're going to get a win. Which, that's just crazy. Like, no matter which way you slice it, like, I'm not here to tell you what you believe or what you don't believe, but that's just pure crazy. To say that you don't need to watch film and you're going to beat the number 2 team in the country, shooting whatever shots you want to take and playing as hard as you ever want to play, like, it's just ridiculous. And it's just stuff like that. Coleman Hawkins was so confused, and he was like, I can't believe I signed up to play for this guy. He's just chasing the bag, went wherever the bag was. But, I mean, this is just, there's so many situations like this where it's just like, no wonder this thing didn't work out.
I mean, you're not going to find a good coach that's going to be like, just do your own thing. And you got to stick to a schedule. You got to keep consistent. You can't just let them go play. You're not going to see a number 2 seed do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to see him just, go play to your best ability.
Yeah. I mean, and this wasn't, I want to hear your perspective on this too, because it wasn't that long ago that Michigan was kind of in a situation like this with Juwan Howard, right?
Yeah.
They were in a really bad spot.
I mean, it was rough. The players, I don't think we had the best team overall. Mm-mm. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think we had a great team. They were decent some spots, but
yeah. I mean, it was just like this. It just almost kind of reminds me of the low that Michigan was at, because there was so many. Like, I believe there was one clip of Juwan Howard, like, he punch a player or something?
Something like that.
Or hit a player in a post game.
I see such a close relationship with these two right now. Like, it's not gonna go good. But hey, look where we're at right now. Yeah. We got Dusty May, great coach, number 1 in the college basketball right now.
Yeah, that's the one thing, and that's a good segue to this, is that there's a lot of people going around saying that this firing for cause of Jerome Tang will make this a not very desirable job for a coach to have. But the thing is, like, K-State, the last 3 coaches at K-State have all made an Elite 8. K-State has one of the bigger NIL budgets in the country. I mean, Tang's failure was not for not having enough NIL money. He had more money than he could do with, and he just wasted all of it. He didn't bring in the right guys at all, and that just is a critique on his roster building, which is exactly what I talked about 2 weeks ago. So this was just pure coaching and roster building, mismanagement by Tang, and overall organizational flaws that were in his era at K-State. So the K-State job is a good one. It's not the top job in the Big 12 by any means. It's probably not top half. There's so many good programs in the Big 12 with a lot of funding, but I mean, K-State has a good environment to play in. When K-State is good, Bramlage Coliseum is a tremendous arena to play in.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of NIL resources. They have a very rich tradition, and they have success from the last 3 coaches who have been there, including Tang in his first season. So this is a good job that a lot of coaches were going to want to take, and there's not going to be that many positions that looks like that will be open this year. Syracuse, Providence, I believe off the top of my Cincinnati are some of the ones off the top of my head that may be open. Arizona State is as well as another one. So if you look at it that way, K-State will probably be a top 5 job that will be opened this offseason. And the candidates this season are not that good. But overall, I think if K-State wants to go the previous head coaching experience route that Gene Taylor said that they were going to be looking for, then I think there are some decent options at the mid-major ranks here. And maybe we can attract a sitting Power 4 head coach to come in and coach the program, somebody that may be failing a little bit at their current situation because of a lack of resources, which would certainly not be a problem, as I mentioned, at K-State. But this is a crazy situation. Like, it's just it's going to devolve into a lawsuit. We're going to have we had Tang's lawyer yesterday come out and say that whatever embarrassment that the university thought Tang put on their program, he's going to put even more on them. So it's like there are threats flying left and right, and former players speaking out about how they've wronged Jerome Tang in the situation. And not even to mention, I mean, it's not hard to see. You turn on ESPN and there's someone like Seth Greenberg spouting about how Jerome Tang was a good man and nothing was done wrong by him. It was just purely malpractice by K-State, and they need to just pay up his entire $18.75 million buyout, and that they're trying to shaft him out of it and things like that, giving a lot of criticism to Kansas State where, in my opinion, I don't know that it's necessarily deserved, because we say all the time about how, let's just say, for example, we see players in the NFL get arrested all the time. How quickly do people jump to a conclusion about, like, for example, Stephon Diggs?
I feel like it's really quick.
Yeah.
Most of the time for football, it's instantly.
Like, if a headline comes out, if a player is arrested or it has accusations made against them, we immediately jump out and just say, oh, man, like, they did that.
Everybody's
it's not
on
accused.
Yeah.
Like, so people are just choosing to believe the Jerome Tang side of things here without. I know Kansas State, and they are a very conservative athletic department. I don't think they would be going this route unless they were at least 85% confident that they would be able to get a reduced buyout.
Yeah.
So that's just something to keep in mind. And another thing to keep in mind, too, is that Jerome Tang is not new to the showmanship thing. That's purely what he did at K-State. It was just pure media after media. And, he has a way of working with the media. He's very good when it comes to speaking in front of a camera and twisting things and getting people to believe in him and the way that he wants to do things. Just think about how he had K-State so gripped after that Elite Eight season that even after not making the tournament and having a player dismissed from the team and accusing Iowa State of cheating, that they were willing to give him this lucrative contract extension to prevent him from going to Arkansas, which may have just been a ploy to get more money, because I don't know in what situation you're going after Jerome Tang to then hiring John Calipari.
Yeah.
Like, those are opposite ends of the spectrum, a guy that can coach off the charts and a guy that can't coach at all. So, I mean, obviously, Tang was a good coach, it seemed like, at the time, and he was just a year removed from the Elite Eight, but it's just he's good with the press. So just remember that when you see these things happening with Dick Vitale and all these people coming out and voicing their support for Jerome Tang. And another thing to remember is most of those are former failed head coaches themselves. So most of those guys are going to want to stick together and, in the failed head coaches club. But moving on over here is we're going to talk about.
I got one thing. What do you think? Should you have waited to fire Jerome Tang till the end of the season? Because I feel like this is going to bring in a lot of negative things with the team.
Yeah, overall, I think if we wanted to fire him for cause, that this was probably the time to do it. But I think from a pure standpoint of, we now have a head start on the rest of the teams in the country on looking at a new head coach.
That's true.
So I think if we can get something together where, I guess this is a good segue into talking about this too, some top candidates that could be replacing Jerome Tang K-State. One of them on the top of my list is Jared Calhoun, the coach at Utah State. And Cincinnati is a big threat to potentially get him this offseason because he was an alumni of Cincinnati and was on the staff for Bob Huggins at West Virginia for a while, who coached at Cincinnati. He also coached at K-State and speaks glowingly about his time there, but only for a season. So there's these coaches that we would love to get. Josh Schertz, I don't think will be making a decision that quickly from St. Louis. He's the top dog, but I overall, I think it was, I probably wish that they would have waited to the end of the season just to avoid all of this PR.
Yeah.
But, I mean, man, we saw the PR that was happening when K-State let Jerome Tang go up to those press conferences. Who knows where it could have spiraled with seven more games.
Well, especially because if they keep that he's going to get fired, he probably already knew that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
100%.
building up, if it's just going to keep building up, he's not going to talk positive on him at all.
No.
It's just going to be straight negative.
Yeah.
But then I feel like the arguments with the K-State players now, for those who believe in Jerome Tang, for those who don't, I feel like there's going to be a lot of arguments.
Yeah. There's certainly a thing to look at of people in the national media are trying to convince you that, oh, if you don't win at K-State, the fans are going to turn on you and they're going to show up with bags on their head and they're going to fire you for cause when they don't have a cause. Well, the thing that you fail to leave out in that scenario is that what was I going to freaking say? Okay, I got it. The thing that you may not take into account is that most college coaches don't think they're going to fail. They don't take a job thinking that they're going to lose.
Yeah, they don't want to lose.
Yeah, because most of them have been dominating at a level for so long that they are now a candidate to move up to a high major level in a program like K-State, that they're not used to losing. Like, head coach like Josh Schertz at St. Louis, he has an over 700 career winning percentage. That guy does not lose, and he's 20. He has one loss on the season. I believe they're 23-1, or something like that on the season. That's not a guy who's used to losing. So if you have this success, or another guy I like is Casey Alexander from Belmont. He has 7+ seasons, I believe, of 10+ wins. It might even be a decade. I believe it's a 10+ seasons of 20+ wins. That guy's not used to losing. Like, he just doesn't lose. So coaches aren't going to be going to K-State fearing that they fail. That's what agents are for. That's what they help write contracts for, to discuss and to protect their clients against. But now transitioning into some college basketball and Braden's Michigan Wolverines. Let's give everybody, we covered them a little bit. I believe it was last week in the College Basketball 101 episode. But what is your how do you feel about Michigan this season?
I mean, one of the most dominant teams. I mean, I'm going to be biased, obviously. I'm a Michigan fan, but I think they deserve the number 1 seed. Always in college basketball, does it really matter for the number 1 seed right now? Not really. I mean, for the tournament, it'd be great, but we've seen upsets before, like with Virginia. We've seen it. But I think Michigan, I think they can go all the way. Definitely.
100%.
One of the most competitive, strong teams out there right now. I haven't watched a lot of Duke, but I did watch the UNC Duke game. Okay. UNC put up a great fight against Duke.
They did.
So, I mean, I've been talking to a couple people, seeing who they think is going to win, and most people say Michigan.
Yeah. It is at Cameron Indoor, too, so it's not a home game for Michigan. So I think this is a very big test for them. Who was Michigan's loss against?
It was against Wisconsin, but which isn't great for us, but Wisconsin is a solid team. They have beat, I think it was Illinois and Michigan State and Michigan.
Yeah.
I think we were all top 10 ranked teams at that point.
So Wisconsin just recently got ranked too. So they're coming up.
I mean, they're a solid team. I'm not going to lie. They are a good team. They started off the season pretty slow, but then after beating us and then beating Illinois and then Michigan State, I mean, they've just gone up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall for this game, I like Michigan too. I just think, it's probably safe to say that Yaxel Lundeberg is the best player for Michigan.
Yeah.
He was one of the highest him and PJ Haggerty were probably the two most highly coveted players in the transfer portal this season, and this seasons could just have not gone more different for the two programs that acquired them. K-State totally tanked, and Michigan, of course, sitting top of the AP poll right now and projected to be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Which, last year, we did pretty good. Yep. Hiring Dusty May. Did we get Maya yet? Did we have Maya?
I don't think so, because they still had Golden.
Yeah, it was It was Golden, and because the FAU guy.
Yeah,
he came over from FAU with Dusty May.
Guy.
Yeah,
he robbed K-State of a Final Four.
Yep, I remember watching that game.
They cleaned us on the glass that game.
That game was awesome.
Yeah, he had like 18 rebounds.
Yeah, and then it was the guy that plays on the Nets now. What's his name?
For Michigan.
Yeah. Why am I drawing a blank of his name?
It's okay. We can.
Isn't it Danny Wolf?
Danny Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. That's a pull on the spot.
Yeah. That was a solid team.
Yeah.
Still, I think we made it to was it Sweet 16 or 32? I think it was Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had them losing to UC San Diego. That's also
Yeah.
another guy I have on my K-State coaching hot board is the former UC San Diego coach and current New Mexico coach, Eric Olin. He's done a great job, and I loved what he did with the Tritons last year. So I thought they were a really good team. And Michigan, it was a little hairy last year, but they finished it out.
Yeah. I mean, so looking at this game, Michigan against all the ranked opponents, they have been doing actually pretty solid. Whenever we play a non-ranked team in our division in the Big Ten, it's a questionable game. Like the game against Northwestern the other day, we were down 15, I think, at half. And then came back. We went on a 30-0 run and ended up winning the game by 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we kind of struggle against the non-ranked teams in our division, which is kind of sad to say. But outside of our division, we have done really good this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Michigan, I originally had Arizona over them, but a lot changed in 2 weeks. Arizona lost twice. They went from being unbeaten to having 2 losses pretty quickly. I mean, both of them were good losses. They didn't lose to any bad teams. But no, Michigan is an incredible team, and overall, I think they have as you said, a very good shot of winning the national championship. At this point, I would say my top maybe 3 teams that I would just put off the top of my head as my favorites to win the national champions are Michigan, Arizona, who was my national championship prediction, and Houston overall. I mean, you could Duke could get in the conversation. I mean, they are in the conversation, but at least into my list, they could get into the top 3 if they do beat Michigan. And I don't know if that would necessarily take Michigan off my list either.
I don't know.
It would just expand the list.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take a lot to knock some of the top teams off right now. I mean, we got a lot of domination in the top of the top 5.
Yeah,
They're
UConn,
solid.
Duke, Michigan, Houston. They just lost last night. Iowa State. I mean, there's so many good
Iowa
teams.
State's solid.
Yeah. They just typically don't do much in March. So that's just my concern. But no, there's so many good teams this year in college basketball, and this is going to be a tremendous game. Going into some other games on the schedule this week, I believe we have Houston at Arizona, right?
Yep.
That's going to be a phenomenal game. I can't wait for that one. This is a big opportunity for Arizona to have their get back and take down a team that can help them boost their resume back up. They suffered 2 losses, as I mentioned earlier, but Houston coming off of a loss, they're going to want their get back. So it's 2 teams that are hungry for a win and 2 teams that really need something here. So I like those matchups. And then, of course, tonight, we were talking about Michigan. We have Tuesday. This is obviously going to be happened by the time this episode comes out. On Peacock at 5:30, we have Michigan and Purdue, which will be another good game. Hopefully, Michigan doesn't lose before then, because then
we need to win this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great game. Excited for that one. And then a sneaky good game to watch out for too is UNC NC State. NC State isn't ranked, but Will Wade has the Wolfpack humming right now, and North Carolina just unfortunately lost Caleb Wilson for much of the season. So that'll be difficult for them. Wednesday night, Arkansas, Alabama. It's a good matchup. 2 ranked teams in the SEC. Probably make an argument those are the 2 best teams in the SEC right now. I'm not that big of a Vanderbilt believer. We have BYU, Arizona on Wednesday night as well. Those are 2 good teams. BYU is struggling a little bit without they might struggle a little bit without Richie Saunders. He just tore his ACL last weekend. So that will be tough. We'll see how they can respond. It is at Arizona. I would almost guarantee Arizona wins that game. They're so good. And then Friday night is another big night. We have 2 of the best teams in the A10 squaring off, VCU and St. Louis. That's going to be peak.
Yeah.
I will be watching that. And you also have 25-0 Miami, Ohio, playing Bowling Green, who beat K-State earlier this season. So, yeah, VCU St. Louis is going to be a really good game. VCU's been hot recently. They're on a 9-game win streak. So, and then, of course, Saturday, we mentioned some of the games that are happening on Saturday as well early with Arizona, Houston at 2, and Obviously, Michigan-Duke is another great game. And then you have Iowa State going to Provo, Utah to play BYU and AJ Dybantsa. So there's a lot of good games on the slate. This week you have Ohio State playing at Michigan State, which is Michigan State's kind of been free-falling recently.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with them because UCLA, they play UCLA
they do.
Tonight, and so Tuesday, and I guess we'll see because, I mean, they've been kind of a little bit falling off, especially with some of the things that have been happening with Fears. Yeah.
No, yeah, he's turned, speaking of Duke, he's turned into a bit of a Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
Like, that dude just flops all the time. So they've played a lot of close games recently.
And just, have you seen the dirty stuff that he's been doing?
Oh, that's what I mean, Grayson Allen.
People,
yeah. He's tripping guys. That Minnesota game I saw. I didn't. Why would I watch that game? But
I saw the clip.
Oh my gosh, he was like
horrible.
5 trips.
Yeah.
Like, the dude he's dirty, and I really liked his brother Jeremiah. He went to the Pelicans. He was really good at Michigan State last year. And Jeremy Fears seems to be a lot more of a dirty player.
I'm just happy. What's the coach's name?
Izzo?
Yeah, Izzo. I'm just glad that Izzo is, like, he's seeing it. He's knowing that it's happening because he talked about it.
Yeah.
He's like, I know, I see it happening, like all this stuff.
He called him out on it, which I respect, I really like that.
Especially because he's a freshman, right?
Oh, no, I think he's an upperclassman.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's been there for a while.
Oh, well, I mean.
He was on the team last year, at least.
Okay, he was. He's just a dirty player, and, I mean, everybody looking up on him, he's a good player.
Yeah.
But, so nobody's going to be like, oh, this guy's dirty and all this stuff, talking down on him. But the coach will do it. That's good.
He's literally their best player.
Yeah.
Like, he's
basically the only player.
Yeah. He has 15 points. He's averaging 15 points a game. And you got Izzo going up there talking about his own guy, talking about how much of a dirty player he is.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Braden, for coming on this week on the Free Play Pod. I'm excited to see how this Michigan and Duke game plays out. And over this Michigan-Purdue game. It sucks it's on Peacock.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to say right now, I think the game, Michigan and Purdue, is going to be the outcome of this Duke game. If Michigan can pull off a win, I think we beat Duke. If we lose, I think we just go into Duke and just
play it flat.
I don't think we can do it.
Okay. That's interesting. The Big Ten definitely needs it. They've been kind of slipping recently. Illinois has been solid. Nebraska's kind of slipped back a little bit. Michigan State, obviously, we talked about them falling
back a little bit.
Yeah, Wisconsin's been on the rise. Man, Wisconsin, they've been
they're
good
a
recently.
They're a solid team.
8-2 in their last 10.
They've only really been able to beat the top teams, though. I mean, they've beaten some of the other teams, but like some of the losses that they've had they're
bad.
A little bit questionable.
Yeah.
Indiana. I mean, it's only
USC.
Yeah, USC. Just I don't know about some of these.
Villanova.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a little
TCU,
rough.
but TCU is a solid team. They kept it close with Michigan.
They did. They almost beat Michigan.
Yeah, that was overtime.
TCU is a fun team to watch on the bubble because I think they have so many good wins that are aging really well. They knocked off another team, too. I don't remember who it was. It was Iowa State. They beat Iowa State.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what? But, no, TCU, if they can just continue to win, like K-State had them on the ropes. They were down by 18 to K-State, and they came back and won.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Free Play Podcast, and we'll see you all in the next episode.